What if I told you that the can of soda in that teenager's hand might be making their anxiety worse? Not just a little worse, measurably, neurologically, biologically worse. Teen anxiety has skyrocketed. 62% of American teenagers report feeling overwhelmed by anxiety. The same years that teen anxiety exploded, sugar consumption in teens reached record highs. Energy drinks, sodas, sweetened coffees. The average American teenager consumes 82 grams of added sugar daily. The recommended limit? 25 grams. They're consuming more than 3 times that. In 2024, researchers published findings that connect these two epidemics in ways that demand attention. The mechanism isn't simple. It's not just sugar makes you hyper. It's deeper, more permanent, more alarming. Welcome to Mind and Marvel. I'm your host, Lucas. Let's establish the crisis, because this isn't normal teenage stress. In 2010, roughly 8% of teenagers had diagnosed anxiety disorders. By 2024, nearly 20%, 1 in 5 teenagers, sitting in classrooms, paralyzed by anxiety. Girls are hit hardest. Rates of anxiety and depression in teenage girls have more than doubled in a decade. The economic cost? Astronomical. But the human cost is incalculable. Researchers have blamed social media, academic pressure, the pandemic, economic instability. All valid, all contributing, but none explaining the full picture. One factor has been largely overlooked, hiding in plain sight, in every school cafeteria and vending machine. Diet, specifically sugar. The average American teenager's diet has shifted dramatically in the past 30 years. Ultra-processed foods now provide 60 to 70% of teen calories. Added sugar lurking everywhere. Sodas, energy drinks, sports drinks, flavored yogurts, cereals. Energy drink consumption among teens exploded, sales up 300% since 2010. Marketed directly at teenagers, influencer promotions, gaming sponsorships, school-adjacent advertising. But is there actually a causal connection to anxiety, or just correlation? The research says it's complicated and increasingly alarming. Let's follow what happens in a teenager's body after downing an energy drink. Within 20 minutes, blood glucose spikes dramatically. The pancreas panics, releases a flood of insulin to manage the sugar. Blood sugar crashes, reactive hypoglycemia. Think of it like flooring a car's accelerator, then slamming the brakes. Extreme, jarring, destabilizing. Your body responds to crashing blood sugar by releasing adrenaline, cortisol, stress hormones. These are the exact hormones activated during anxiety and panic attacks. Heart racing, sweating, jitteriness, inability to concentrate. Are these symptoms creating anxiety or mimicking it? Here's the key. Your brain interprets your body's physiological state. Think of your brain as constantly reading your body's signal ticker. Heart racing, danger, sweat, threat, shaking. Something's wrong. Even if the cause is a sugar crash, the brain interprets these signals as anxiety, responds accordingly. Do this 3, 4, 5 times daily. The brain starts conditioning, learning to be anxious. Neural pathways strengthened with each sugar-driven stress response. But the sugar-anxiety connection runs even deeper, through inflammation. Chronic high sugar intake promotes systemic inflammation throughout the body. Sugar creates advanced glycation end products, AGEs, molecules that trigger inflammatory responses. This inflammation reaches the brain, neuroinflammation. A brain under inflammatory siege functions differently, like trying to concentrate in a room filling with smoke. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, becomes hyperactivated under neuroinflammation. Every threat appears larger. Every stress feels catastrophic. The volume on anxiety gets turned up. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, your rational brain, loses function. Less ability to regulate emotions, rationalize fears, maintain perspective. Overactive fear center, underactive rational brain, the perfect anxiety spiral. And the third mechanism? The gut-brain axis again. High sugar intake feeds harmful bacteria in your gut, starves beneficial ones. Beneficial gut bacteria produce serotonin, GABA, mood-stabilizing neurochemicals, disrupt the microbiome, disrupt mental health. Research now links gut dysbiosis directly to anxiety. Here's what makes this especially concerning. Teenagers aren't small adults. The adolescent brain is under construction. The most dramatic renovation since infancy. Pruning, myelination, neural pathway optimization, happening at unprecedented pace. The prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop until age 25. Until then, it's vulnerable. Think of it as a building under construction. No roof yet. Everything inside is exposed to whatever the environment throws at it. Environmental factors during adolescence have outsized, potentially permanent impacts. Animal studies confirm this. Adolescent rodents given high-sugar diets show lasting anxiety behaviors, even after sugar is removed from their diet. The anxiety persists. The neural rewiring during adolescence locked in the anxiety patterns. Permanent. The HPA axis, your stress response system, is being calibrated during adolescence. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal glands. Setting baseline stress reactivity. Repeated sugar-driven cortisol spikes during this calibration period create lasting dysregulation. Like calibrating a thermostat during extreme heat, it learns that extreme is normal. The teenager's stress system gets permanently set too sensitive. And here's the compounding factor: sleep. Energy drinks combine sugar with caffeine. Devastating combination for adolescent sleep. Teenagers need 9 hours of sleep. Most average 6.5. Sleep deprivation amplifies anxiety responses by 30% in controlled studies. Energy drink at 4 p.m., less sleep, more anxiety, worse stress response the next day. Another energy drink for energy the next morning. The cycle deepens, and sugar triggers dopamine reward pathways, the same system hijacked by addiction. Adolescent brains are especially sensitive to dopamine rewards, more vulnerable to addictive patterns. Teenagers crave sugar when stressed, using it to briefly boost mood. Then the crash worsens anxiety, driving more cravings. The anxiety sugar loop. Each revolution tightening the spiral. So what does the actual evidence show? A 2024 meta-analysis covering over 250,000 participants across multiple countries, finding high sugary beverage consumption was associated with a 25% higher risk of anxiety symptoms, a dose-response relationship. More sugar consumption, more anxiety. Less. Energy drinks showed the strongest association: anxiety, aggression, sleep disturbance. Longitudinal studies followed teenagers over time. Higher sugary drink intake at age 13 to 14 predicted greater anxiety symptoms at 16 to 17, even when controlling for social media use, academic pressure, and family stress. Sugar was an independent predictor, not just correlated, independently linked. But important caveat, these are largely observational studies. Correlation isn't causation. Teens who drink more soda may have other risk factors: less parental supervision, lower income, more stress. Randomized controlled trials are needed for definitive proof. Difficult to do with diet research, but the mechanistic evidence is compelling. We know the pathways. They make biological sense. So what can be done? School policies matter. Countries that banned sugary drinks in schools saw modest but measurable mental health improvements. The UK sugar tax reduced teen consumption by 34% within 2 years. Mexico's sugary drink tax cut consumption across all demographics. At the individual level, the research suggests gradual replacement. Water, sparkling water, herbal teas, gradually replacing sugary drinks. 30-day sugar reduction trials show mood improvements within 2 to 3 weeks. Teenagers reporting less anxiety, better sleep, improved focus after reducing sugar intake. Gut microbiome recovery is surprisingly rapid. Within days of reducing sugar, beneficial bacteria rebound. We're living through a teenage mental health crisis. Real, devastating, multifactorial. Social media plays a role. Academic pressure plays a role. Family stress plays a role. And sugar plays a role. Perhaps not the largest, but one of the most actionable. Because unlike social media, algorithms, or economic pressures, diet is something families and communities can actually change. The biology is compelling. Brain inflammation, gut dysbiosis, stress hormone dysregulation, all connected to chronic sugar overconsumption, all connected to anxiety. Which leaves us with a profound question. We've engineered a food environment that maximizes pleasure and profit. Hyper-palatable, cheap, ubiquitous, and we've built it around our most vulnerable population, teenagers, whose brains are still forming. Every energy drink sponsor of a teen gaming tournament, every vending machine in every school hallway, is a society that profits from foods demonstrably harming adolescent mental health, complicit in the teen anxiety epidemic? If we know the mechanism, see the correlation, understand the biology, at what point does an action become a choice, and who bears responsibility for that choice? If this connection between sugar and teen mental health opened your eyes, hit that like button. This conversation matters. Subscribe to Mind and Marvel for more investigations where nutrition, neuroscience, and public health intersect. Drop a comment. Do you see the sugar anxiety connection in teens around you? Should schools ban energy drinks? What dietary change do you think would most improve teen mental health? Important note, if you or a teenager you know is struggling with anxiety, please consult a healthcare professional. Dietary changes may help, but anxiety disorders require proper evaluation and treatment. This is Mind and Marvel, where science, survival, and the superhuman collide. Until next time, read the label, because what's in that can might be doing more than quenching thirst.